You're my special friend. Can everyone say hi to my friend?
Back from the dead.
Welcome to the party, pal. Your fun neighborhood master, Chaos here. I hope you're well. I don't normally get political on this channel. I decide to kind of leave that off to the side most of the times because it's, it divides us, and that sucks. But today's a dark day. In my opinion, in terms of democracy and people's rights, Roe v. Wade is overturned. That's a huge, huge thing for a lot of people, regardless of where you land. A lot of people are going to be hurt by this decision. Now, like I said, I don't normally do politics on this channel. It's all about movies and the love of cinema and the love of creation and the love of life and the love of your freedom of choice when it comes to movies and things like that. So honestly, I'm pro-choice. I will say that right now. And if we disagree, I understand. That's fine. Let's keep any comments down below civil, please. I respect your opinion, and I expect you to do the same. Today, we're going to do something that's more in keeping with the channel. I really just wanted to bring this up because this popped up on my feed, and it was just perfect. Instead of me rambling on, my feelings on the matter, I think we're going to do something that's more in keeping with what we do here at Master Chaos TV. We're going to watch some funny shit. This is coming from the master of comedy himself, somebody I got to see live once, I think 2 years before he passed away, which is kind of amazing. The man, the myth, the legend, George Carlin. Let's get to it. This guy says it the best. So I'm just going to sit back and watch along with you as we, try to get past this difficult moment in history.
Why is it that most of the people who are against abortion are people you wouldn't want to fuck in the first place, huh?
That's true. That's very true.
Boy, these conservatives are really something, aren't they? They're all in favor of the unborn. They will do anything for the unborn. But once you're born, you're on your own.
I love this guy.
Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're pre-born, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. You're fucked.
This is back in the day, too.
Conservatives don't give a shit about you until you reach military age. Then they think you are just fine, just what they've been looking for. Conservatives want live babies so they can raise them to be dead soldiers. Pro-life. Pro-life.
Wow.
These people aren't pro-life, they're killing doctors. What kind of pro-life is that? What, they'll do anything they can to save a fetus, but if it grows up to be a doctor, they just might have to kill it? They're not pro-life. You know what they are? They're anti-woman. Simple as it gets. Anti-woman. They don't like them. Wow. They don't like women.
You know what's insane is this was, I forget the date. I think this is in the 80s, man. So, like, nothing has changed here. It's insane to me. Not much has changed from back in the day. I mean, he's speaking the truth.
They believe a woman's primary role is to function as a broodmare for the state. Pro-life. You don't see many of these white anti-abortion women volunteering to have any black fetuses transplanted into their uteruses, do you? No, you don't see them adopting a whole lot of crack babies, do you? No, that might be something Christ would do.
Okay, we got one more clip to share with you guys. Oh my God, can you imagine? I mean, this is literally Yeah, 2 decades ago, maybe. Yeah, about 2 decades ago, maybe more. Oh no! Oh my God, no! What am I talking about? I don't even know the date of the special, to be honest. But 40 years ago, my God, is it? Shit, that's crazy. Time flies. Anyway, I'm not good at math and sort of had a busy day, so I can't even wrap my head around what's happening right now. But George is speaking the truth. Here's another clip. This is a little longer. It's about 8 minutes. But he eviscerates the church in this one. So if you're sensitive to that topic, I understand. Thank you for hanging out with me as long as you have been. Leave me a thumbs up or whatever, just so you know. Political opinions are opinions. I get it. Wherever you land, it's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to convince you. Just trying to maybe put a smile on people's faces while we commiserate. I guess that's the best way to put it. So let's go on. This is the next bit, and this one's a little longer, but he's got so much juicy shit in here. Okay, well that sounded weird, but you know what I mean. Anyway, here it is.
But let's get back to this abortion shit. Now, is a fetus a human being? This seems to be the central question. Well, if a fetus is a human being, how come the census doesn't count them? If a fetus is a human being, how come when there's a miscarriage, they don't have a funeral? If a fetus is a human being, how come people say we have 2 children and 1 on the way instead of saying we have 3 children? People say life begins.
Well, I'll say some people do have funerals for their miscarriages, from what I understand. I think that does happen.
Is it conception? I say life began about 1 billion years ago, and it's a continuous process. Continuous, just keeps rolling along. Rolling along. I say, you know something? Listen, you can go back further than that. What about the carbon atoms? Huh? Human life could not exist without carbon. So is it just possible that maybe we shouldn't be burning all this coal? Just looking for a little consistency here in these anti-abortion arguments.
Wow.
See, the really hardcore people will tell you life begins at fertilization. Fertilization when the sperm fertilizes the egg, which is usually a few moments after the man says, gee, honey, I was going to pull out, but the phone rang and it startled me. Fertilization.
For the record, that's never happened to me. Just in case you were wondering.
But even after the egg is fertilized, it's still 6 or 7 days before it reaches the uterus and pregnancy begins. And not every egg makes it that far. 80% of a woman's fertilized eggs are rinsed and flushed out of her body once a month during those delightful few days she has. They wind up on sanitary napkins, and yet they are fertilized eggs. So basically what these anti-abortion people are telling us is that any woman who's had more than 1 period is a serial killer. Consistency. Hey, if they really want to get serious, what about all the sperm that are wasted when the state executes a condemned man and one of these pro-life guys who's watching comes in his pants, huh? Here's a guy standing over there with his jockey shorts full of little Vinnies and Debbies, and nobody's saying a word to that guy. Not every ejaculation deserves a name. Now, speaking of consistency, Catholics, which I was until I reached the age of reason. Catholics and other Christians are against abortions, and they're against homosexuals. Well, who has less abortions than homosexuals? Leave these fucking people alone, for Christ's sakes. Here is an entire class of people guaranteed never to have an abortion. And the Catholics and Christians are just tossing them aside. You'd think they'd make natural allies. Go look for consistency in religion. And speaking to my friends, the Catholics, when John Cardinal O'Connor of New York and some of these other cardinals and bishops have experienced their first pregnancies and their first labor pains, and they've raised a couple of children on minimum wage, then I'll be glad to hear what they have to say about abortion. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Enlightening, too. But, in the meantime, what they ought to be doing is telling these priests who took a vow of chastity to keep their hands off the altar boys. Keep your hands to yourself, Father. You know? When Jesus said, "Suffer the little children, come unto me," that's not what he was talking about.
The ground though.
So you know what I tell these anti-abortion people? I say, hey, if you think a fetus is more important than a woman, try getting a fetus to wash the shit stains out of your underwear.
Wow. Man.
For no pay and no pension. I tell them, think of an abortion as term limits. That's all it is. Biological term limits. But you know, the longer you listen to this abortion debate, the more you hear this phrase, sanctity of life. You've heard that, sanctity of life. You believe in it? Personally, I think it's a bunch of shit. Well, I mean, life is sacred? Who said so? God? Hey, if you read history, you realize that God is one of the leading causes of death. Has been for thousands of years.
Oh, man.
Hindus, Muslims, Jews, Christians, all taking turns killing each other because God told them it was a good idea. The sword of God, the blood of the Lamb, vengeance is mine. Millions of dead motherfuckers. Millions of dead motherfuckers, all because they gave the wrong answer to the God question.
Yeah.
You believe in God? No. Dead. You believe in God? Yes. You believe in my God? No. Dead. My God has a bigger dick than your God. Thousands of years, and all the best wars, too. The bloodiest, most brutal wars fought, all based on religious hatred, which is fine with me. Hey, anytime a bunch of holy people want to kill each other, I'm a happy guy. But don't be giving me all this shit about the sanctity of life. I mean, even if there were such a thing, I don't think it's something you can blame on God. Now, you know where the sanctity of life came from? We made it up. You know why? Because we're alive. Self-interest. Living people have a strong interest in promoting the idea that somehow life is sacred. You don't see Abbott and Costello running around talking about this shit, do you? We're not hearing a whole lot from Mussolini on the subject. What's the latest from JFK? Not a goddamn thing. Because JFK, Mussolini, and Abbott and Costello are fucking dead. They're fucking dead. And dead people give less than a shit about the sanctity of life. Only living people care about it, so the whole thing grows out of a completely biased point of view. It's a self-serving, man-made bullshit story. It's one of these things we tell ourselves so we'll feel noble. Life is sacred. Makes you feel noble. Well, let me ask you this. If everything that ever lived is dead, and everything alive is gonna die, where does the sacred part come in? I'm having trouble with that. Because, I mean, even with this stuff we preach about the sanctity of life, we don't practice it. We don't practice it. Look at what we kill. Mosquitoes and flies, because they're pests. Lions and tigers, because it's fun. Chickens and pigs, because we're hungry. Pheasants and quails, because it's fun. And we're hungry. And people, we kill people, because they're pests. And it's fun. And you might have noticed something else. The sanctity of life doesn't seem to apply to cancer cells, does it? You rarely see a bumper sticker that says, "Save the tumors." Or "I break for advanced melanoma." Viruses, mold, mildew, maggots, fungus, weeds, E. coli bacteria, the crabs. Nothing sacred about those things. So at best, the sanctity of life is kind of a selective thing. We get to choose which forms of life we feel are sacred, and we get to kill the rest. Pretty neat deal, huh? You know how we got it? We made the whole fucking thing up. Made it up. The same way. Thank you.
Wow. Like I said, I don't like to get political on here. I've already stated my views, but I wanted to share that with you because I honestly think he said it the best. He said everything that I wanted to say, but not in. He was more eloquent, basically, is what I'm saying. He was more eloquent than me. So I'll leave it there. Tough day for a lot of people. But I hope you enjoyed that little clip from George Carlin. May he rest in peace. He's one of the best. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. We don't normally do this, but we do a lot of reaction videos to funny shit. We watch a lot of crazy stuff. So I hope you'll join us for more down the line. And if you do, then I'll see you again. And it'd be my honor and pleasure to do that. Remember, keep comments down below, civil, because, you know, this is America, free speech, all that good stuff. So please say your piece. I'm 100% okay with that. But do it respectfully, my friend. Maybe a little more respectfully than George did. But then again, George speaks for all of us. Well, I don't say for all of us, but George speaks for at least me. And I'll leave it there. Rest in peace, George. Thank you for watching, guys.
Yeah. Y'all ready for this? Number one in the hood.